Leonard. They have the best starting five. They have the best bench, and they have the best coach. They're going to win 60 games next year. It's wild. All right, next up, T. Wilson says, the Lakers re-signed Caldwell, or not Will, they did, and it's similar to what we had mentioned earlier on the show. They have brought back KCP, T. Wilson. 1 year, $12 million, right on that. Back next to NBA fan here says, do you think Cleveland is a lotto team? The Whites to LA as well. I don't know if the White's ever going to go back to LA. I'm curious how he would fit with LeBron James. But I do think that Cleveland is 100% a lottery team. There is no way that they make the playoffs. This team is going to be bad next year in a big, big way. I think that the Cavs just need to blow it up. I do think they're going to be a lottery team next year. I mean, they have their own first-round pick, and also Dwight to LA. I hope you're just trying to be funny. I really hope you're trying to be funny. Is it a joke? I actually don't necessarily hate the idea. I do. No. I'll make one note on Dwight. Every year, it's different for Dwight. Oh, this team will make it work. Every year, it doesn't work. I'm not touching Dwight Howard against this team. Again, Steve Wilson says, what about the Lakers trading for DeMar DeRozan? I don't think he's a fit with Bron. No. They both need the ball in their hands. DeRozan is not enough of a shooter to fit well alongside LeBron. Spend your money elsewhere. If you're the Lakers, he is getting paid $26 million next year, DeMar DeRozan. If you're the Lakers, no thank you. I want nothing to do with DeMar DeRozan's contract. No way. Save your money. Spend it to give extensions to Kuzma and Ball and Ingram and all the rest of your young players. No thanks. Not going to happen. Also, just got a tweet from Trent SATC saying, giving you some love from Africa. Appreciate it. We'll see some more Super Chats. We'll get to those here in a little bit as well, folks. But I'm Earth Ruben saying, if you're just now joining us, no, this is not an April Fool's joke. No, it's not fake news. LeBron James has signed with the Los Angeles Lakers on a rather expensive deal. There's LeBron James, 4 years, $154 million. In the fourth year, there is a player option. You would assume, Harris, LeBron James decides to opt out, and then Lakers try to add other players around to LeBron James. They're not saying, yeah, we'll go through some options here, but focus on the actual LeBron James signing. Obviously, the LA Lakers are your single biggest free agency winner thus far. Oh, they win by 4. It's not even that they are a winner. It's that they won. They won free agency. I'm sorry. They signed LeBron James. The Lakers win free agency. That's just how this works. It happened when the Cavs got him in 2014. Happened when the Heat got him in 2010. If you're able to sign LeBron James, you do it. And you also instantly win free agency. I mean, this is so huge for the Lakers as a brand. I still think this is so massive for the NBA. I mean, there are so few opportunities where leagues get a chance to vault themselves up in terms of popularity. Sending LeBron James to the Lakers is a perfect way for the NBA as a whole to be able to do that. They are manned with the right commissioner. They are manned with some fantastic superstars. And now LeBron goes to the Lakers to really finish off a fantastic run for the NBA as a whole in 2018. The ratings are up. The interest is up in free agency. Everything, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything around basketball is up right now. And this is only going to continue that trend. All right, so there is the tentative lineup right now for the Lakers with LeBron James. Again, if you're joining us, they have re-signed Davis Caldwell Pope a 1 year, $12 million contract. LeBron James, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and then some other different looks of a similar-ish lineup. Mo Wagner, Kyle Kuzma comes in, kind of more of a bigger but also a stretch lineup as well. And then you can kind of move around to Davis Caldwell Pope. You maybe put him in the pointer a little bit, have him team up next to Ingram, have Ingram run the point a little bit. A lot of different ways you can go with that lineup. You bring in Brook Lopez. I would love to see them bring in just a pure three-point shooter. But the Lakers also do have Svi Mykhailiuk, who they just drafted out of Kansas, a 6'8" shooting guard who's a fantastic sharpshooter from the perimeter. So they got a lot of different things that the Lakers can do in order of rebuilding this roster. Or not rebuilding, I should say, continue to add on to this roster. But this is already a good team. This was already, for my money, going to be a competitor for a playoff team or a playoff seed in the Western Conference. Now this makes the Lakers a title contender. Add some more shooters, add a legitimate rim protector, and add a big that can get you some buckets and some rebounds, a real real 7-footer like a Brook Lopez or even a Nerlens Noel. Get these guys in there and really make your team around LeBron. And if you want to make a midseason move for a superstar, go ahead. But I think the Lakers might be better off right now just building a really deep team around LeBron. But like we saw with the Warriors, they had trouble dealing with depth last season. This isn't a very deep team. They're in trouble with their cap. I think the Lakers need to deal with depth rather than just superstars. So we have some updated NBA title odds for you guys. The Golden State Warriors remain your favorite. All right. Yep. But then it is the Lakers and the Boston Celtics at plus 250 after that. The Houston Rockets are plus 700. The Sixers there as well. And, of course, no surprise, the Cavs. Nowhere to go now. It's just the Lakers. These are the teams that you want if you're the NBA being as the most popular teams of basketball. San Francisco, Los Angeles, Boston, Houston, Philadelphia. The only thing that's really missing is New York. And the Knicks in the 2019 offseason might get Klay Thompson, Karl-Anthony Towns. They got 2 max slots, and the Knicks could end up being really, really good as well. So a lot of different ways to go for the NBA overall, but a lot of great players and a lot of big-time markets. The NBA is shaping this up so well. I know we hate super teams. I know we're always thinking about the little guy and the small market team, but come on, guys. Do we really not want to see a Lakers-Celtics NBA Finals next year or a Western Conference Finals of LeBron James versus Kevin Durant, part 3? Like, we want this stuff. We want LeBron James on the Lakers. We want as many headlines as we possibly can. This is so great for the league. And it's also great for the Eastern Conference because now they are free of LeBron James. And we can finally see what teams the Eastern Conference can do without this great black hole of LeBron James. So again, a massive win for LA, a 4-year, $154 million deal as the Lakers land the king himself, LeBron James. Let's talk now about some potential Lakers rumors here, Harrison. The focus on this point is who else can they add? Now, again, they added KCP. That's going to take up a chunk of their contract space. They can free up more if they can get rid of Walding, via the stretch position, or even via a trade. So we'll focus on some big men here. That's what they need as far as I'm concerned right now. We'll start with Clint Capella, who met with the Lakers this afternoon, but we'll make note of this as well here, Harris. He didn't tweet out a sad face emoji about 20 minutes at most before LeBron signed. Maybe that meant he wasn't going to LA. Of course, that's all pure speculation. I want to make this very clear. I think that Clint Capella would be a great fit with the Lakers. Now that LeBron is in LA, there is a 0% chance that the Rockets let Clint Capella end up with LeBron in LA. They would match. There is no way they will match any offer that comes in on Clint Capella that is sent out by the Los Angeles Lakers. It is just crazy. One thing I need to point out, though, remember a couple of years ago where, when LeBron left the Cavs originally and they were using the whole font thing with Dan Gilbert and the note that he put out, I think it was, what was it? It wasn't Arial. It was some crazy font that he was using that people were freaking out about. Flex Sports, in their immediate release that they just put out about LeBron, used the same font that Dan Gilbert used to write his note when LeBron left the first time. Yeah, same font.
That's so petty.
I told you.
Oh, my God.
And Dan Gilbert do not like each other at all. They do. Comic Sans, James Yoder messaged me. Comic Sans, that is the font that LeBron and Flex Sports just put out this release on. I'm telling you, people, the relationship between LeBron and Dan Gilbert was so much worse than I think anyone really knew.
That's very petty.
I love it. Absolutely. I love it. Again, the cap space is kind of fluctuating right now around Clint Capella. We got to take that as needed here. A potential lineup if they bring in Capella. Now, you could put in KCP at the 2 spot as well. Maybe he becomes your 6th man instead. Maybe Ingram is in that role as well. But it's a fun lineup if they get something like that, which, again, does seem a little bit unlikely from the Rockets. Yeah, I consider it to be outstandingly unlikely. I think that them bringing back someone like a Brook Lopez, maybe adding Nerlens Noel is probably a more likely thing at this point than the Lakers adding a big-time free agent like a Clint Capella or DeMarcus Cousins. All right, so let's talk about the guy you just mentioned. One quick thing. Congratulations to the Portland Trailblazers who just signed Mario Hezonja while the Lakers just signed LeBron James. Good job, Portland. You're really doing the big thing.
More tomorrow on the Camp Rogers. So for now, we will focus on the LA Lakers. Namely, can they land DeMarcus Cousins? I actually really wanted this sort of a basketball perspective. I think LeBron and Boogie is a dynamic duo there. You've got all kinds of pick-and-offs with Boogie and Lonzo, Boogie and LeBron. You've got enough shooters with Ingram and Kuzma to keep those guys. That's a fun one. And we know the Boogie can touch the board a little bit as well. We do, and he can actually show last year that he can shoot some threes, which was really impressive. But I think with DeMarcus Cousins, the amount of cap space that the Cavs, or excuse me, the Lakers actually have left, I just don't think that Cousins actually wants to come to the Lakers. He wants his money. He wants his money. I don't think he wants to take a little mini deal, a one-year proven deal to go play with LeBron. DeMarcus Cousins wants that money. By the way, Mario Hezonja, that was fake news. It was actually the New York Knicks that got him, not Portland. So guess what, Knicks fans? You made a huge signing. It wasn't LeBron James. It was Mario Hezonja. Very proud of you, Knicks fans. Another option that has been linked to the Lakers here in the rumors, I don't really get this one. Aaron Gordon, it's a good fit with LeBron. I question the fit in addition to Kyle Kuzma and the Rockets. We all know why Aaron Gordon's being moved to the Lakers, right? The draw of interest for other teams. It's called so the Magic will give him the max contract because no one else is going to at this time. Like, I really don't think people understand the lack of interest out there right now around giving Aaron Gordon the max contract. I wouldn't do it. There's no reason. Why give Aaron Gordon the max contract when in theory you can just go give Jabari Parker like $18 to $19 million a year and get maybe as good, if not better, of a player? Like, I like Aaron Gordon a lot, but look, he's been chucking up shots the past couple of years on a bad Magic team. Now all of a sudden you're a good team going to give him a max contract? I don't see it happen. I can't see it happen. This is an intriguing, almost hybrid small ball lineup because Brandon Ingram is a guard, I guess, but I worry badly about the defensive side of things. How does this fit? How does this work out? Like, who is going to be able to hold up down on the post? It doesn't work. It doesn't. Look, you can have an NBA team where you have three small forwards. You can make that work. Having three wings is fine as long as one of them is okay playing two and defending guard. You can have three power forwards. You can't. You can't do it. Three power forwards, it's just not going to happen. Kuzma and Gordon existing on the court at the same time is super weird, as is having LeBron. I don't think that's going to end up happening. By the way, one quick note here on Mario that you mentioned earlier, just very quickly here. Woj had a tweet wrong. He signed with the Knicks. Yeah, I was just sure about that. Oops. No, but he did that. He did not sign with Portland. Yeah, no, I was screaming before that I said that I was wrong. He didn't sign with the Portland. Anyway, another player here for Lakers, Brook Lopez here. There was reports that Lopez is a good bet to return to the Lakers, and with the way the Lakers' salary cap looks right now, I think that it makes some sense. That's a better money-only fit for LA. And I think Brook would be the fit with LeBron. It does make sense. Brian White on Twitter just added me again at What Going Down at Sports Team. We'll be here all night long answering your questions on Twitter. But the problem that I think with bringing Brook Lopez, the Lakers' defense now, especially around the rim, they need a rim protector. Let's be honest with ourselves. Brook Lopez is a very far away thing from a rim protector. He is not a rim protector. He's a good offensive center. He is not a rim protector by any means. So I'm just worried about Brook Lopez coming back. I think they have to figure out something with a defensive center like Nerlens Noel. Maybe they go out and try to get a Kylo Quinn to come in and play on the defense for them. But I just don't really see the Lakers going after another offensive center. I just can't see it. Let's get down to some non-free agent. That was a trade option. Kawhi Leonard, of course, is the big one there. That is the number one. And as of a little bit ago, the report was that the Lakers haven't really amplified their pursuit of Kawhi Leonard at this time. The Spurs have remained to have a high asking price. They don't want to send him to the Lakers and pair him with LeBron James. The Spurs don't want to do that from an on-field report. They don't want to do that. The report, though, is that the Lakers here remain the favorite for Kawhi Leonard. And I want to make this also clear about the Lakers and the Spurs and Kawhi and all this talk of leverage. The Lakers still have a lot of leverage on their side. They have time. They don't need to make a move for Kawhi Leonard tomorrow. They already have LeBron James. So if the Spurs' option is to just wait out the Lakers can wait. I mean, they have months now until the season starts to make a move for a second superstar. I mean, the Celtics didn't trade for Kyrie Irving until August. I mean, it took Kevin Love until, the end of July, early August to get traded from the T-Wolves to the Cavs. There are a lot of different ways that Kawhi can end up on the Lakers still. So it does hurt the Spurs a lot that LeBron signed without Kawhi already getting traded. But we're gonna be in the middle of a stalemate here for a while unless
unless the Lakers just pony up a ton of assets to get Kawhi, which I don't think they want to do. So again, folks, let us know in the comment section who you think the Lakers should pair with LeBron James. We'll head back quickly here, I think, to one more note on Kawhi, mainly as it relates to the 76ers, as they reportedly kind of go back and forth here with the Los Angeles Lakers. There was a report today, Harris, that Kawhi would resign with the 76ers, would consider it. Now, we saw the very same verbiage with Paul George, and we know how that happened. I think that is a serious potential concern for the Lakers if they want to get Kawhi Leonard. But I will make note of this. The timing is, of course, intriguing. If you're the Spurs, what's the best way to maintain some semblance of leverage with the Lakers? It is publicly putting out every single time the 76ers offer you a trade. Every single time that they do anything involving Kawhi Leonard, you leak it to someone because they gotta force the Lakers' hand. Or even they're going to have the biggest package. Or even just say that the Sixers or the Kawhi could be selling the Sixers. That strikes fear inside us like, oh my God, we might actually get him. It might be a round 2 version of Paul George. The Lakers don't want that. I think that they're going to make a trade for Kawhi Leonard this offseason and get him under an extension, similar to what the Wizards did with John Wall. He was already under a contract. They gave him a supermax anyway. We've seen it happen multiple times. The T-Wolves did it with Andrew Wiggins. They just did it yesterday with Jimmy Butler. So a lot of different ways to go with the Lakers and Kawhi Leonard. So I still think they trade for him this offseason.
The real Paul McCartney died in a car crash. He got decapitated. And then he was replaced by Billy Shepard of the Pepper Pots, who was a Paul McCartney lookalike, who won a Paul McCartney lookalike competition. And he was also in a more successful band at the time. And so he replaced Paul McCartney. And they became even more popular than they were with the original Paul McCartney, which disturbed John Lennon a lot, and the other members. And they all tried to tell us the entire time.
Sign him to an extension at the end. All right, folks. I am Tom Downing. That is Harris Rubenstein. If you're just now joining us, yeah, LeBron signed with the LA Lakers here. We'll talk a little bit more about that if you're just joining us. And we'll get some of those super chats as well. I promise you guys we'll get to those. We're getting them put in here. We're not going to skip them, but don't worry. No, I got one thing to say before we move on here. The Cavaliers' title odds, according to Westgate right now, 500. So you're saying there's a chance. No, there's not. No chance at all for the Cavs to make the finals next year. I do feel bad for the Cleveland fans, but I also don't because you won your title. That was the whole goal.
You don't think that one. So, it's unfortunate that LeBron left. So I do feel bad for the individual fans who have been through fans the entire time. That's really fun for them. But at least they got a title. They did. I mean, we could look back 6 years from now and say, you know what? They never got their title. The Thunder never got their title. And
the Elvis conspiracy is that he actually became a secret agent under Ronald Reagan. And he used his powers to get all the certain members of the mafia to meet to go see Elvis, and then he would perform a sting, and the CIA would come in and they would get all of the criminals and mafia members together in one place, and then Elvis got caught by the mafia, and so then he needed to die and go away, otherwise his family, like his daughter Lisa Marie, would get murdered. And so the government hooked him up and he left, and he died very quickly. And even his own family members will tell you that Elvis was not in the casket. Elvis had left the building and flown to a different place. David Bowie performed his own eulogy on television the next day. You can go look it up. Prince dressed up as his Prince was he at like the award show, like dressed as his sister or something? All the world's a stage, that's for sure. Michael Jackson was at his own. Michael Jackson was seen in the audience of his own funeral, and you can tell like the people in the audience at Michael Jackson's funeral were like, Michael, like, is that him? Like, who is this guy? Why is this guy dressed up? It looks like no one knows what the fuck he is. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Please, if you're a Cavs fan out there, please don't burn your LeBron jerseys. If you have videos, tweet it to us, by the way. We give some of the behind.
By the way, Elvis is now John Cotner. You can go look his books up on Amazon, called Through My Eyes, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, about a top secret agent who used to be the most famous man in the world, had to fake his death to protect his family. Go look it up.
And see you guys getting on that. LeBron James built a public school in Cleveland. If you burn his jersey, you do not have a soul. How could you burn the jersey of a man who is self-funding a public school in your city? Please don't burn your jersey. Please keep your LeBron jersey. He might end up coming back anyway if the Cavs draft Ronnie Jr. the next couple. All right, so again, this is the current / potential lineup right now with LeBron James and the Lakers. Again, Davis also potentially signed a 1-year, $12 million contract. So Bogner's an option there. We'll see what kind of role Luol Deng plays as well, but that's an intriguing fit. It is an intriguing. And of course, they're not done yet. They do have some candidates to play around with right now. Yeah, and I like the KCP fit with LeBron. I mean, they need shooters on the outside, especially on the perimeters. I also think getting a really good perimeter defender. Look, Lonzo's a good defender. His defensive numbers last year were quite good. You put him next to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who's also a decent perimeter defender. It takes a little stress off of LeBron James. I mean, he hasn't exactly been one of the best defensive players in the NBA the past couple of seasons. He's definitely taking it a little bit back. So we'll see what happens with the Lakers and what free agents they have. But I like the Kentavious Caldwell-Pope position a lot. All right, Dan. So again, so LeBron James signs a 4-year, $154 million deal. It includes a player option in his 4th year. This is not a one and opt-out situation. LeBron James is here to stay in LA for an extended period of time. He is not going anywhere. A 4-year move for them is massive. Just because I think it's LeBron saying, I'm done with this. I'm done with the craziness. I'm done with the saga. I'm done with the coverage and the harassment of my friends and family for news clips and sources and all this stuff. I think he's done, and I think he's happy to sign a deal with the Lakers, commit to the city of Los Angeles, allow his family to grow up in LA, and really just end any pursuit of free agency for him in the future. I think it's the right choice as well. Gotta mention it though, this has a lot to do with his son as well. He wants to put his son in one of the best basketball high schools in the country. He wanted his son in Los Angeles, and here it is. I think it's going to be. Again, folks, so if you're just joining us, we went through the updated NBA title odds. The Golden State Warriors are the favorites, -110. But then it's the Lakers and the Celtics at +350. This is what we call the LeBron bump. The Celtics get a big bump in the Eastern Conference. The Cavs fall off the map. And the LA Lakers get a big bump there. So, of course, those odds weren't as upgrades for LA because the odds kind of thought, oh, LeBron's going to get it. Yeah, so it's not a big boost there, but that boost happened earlier in the offseason. We've been talking to the Lakers a lot, obviously, but it needs to just be kind of put out into the world right now. The Warriors are still far and away the favorite to win the NBA title. Yeah, far and away. They are the favorite by a considerable margin. Unless someone gets drastically injured, the Warriors are your favorite heading into next season. Now, I think they have a much more difficult adventure to get to the Western Conference Finals next year. I mean, the West in general is so much better going into this season than it was going into last season. But the East is wide open. The Celtics, the 76ers, the Raptors, the Bucks. There are a lot of fun teams in the East that can make a run at the title. All right, let's do some of these super chats then. We promised you guys to get to them, so here they are. Brian Ruff says, how can they get rid of Luol Deng's contract? A couple different ways. You can attach a first-round pick to him and try to trade him away, which is a little bit unlikely, or you can release him with a stretch provision, which means that you pay out his contract over a very long period of time
but he doesn't count for $24 million on your cap anymore. It's more like you only add about $1 million or $2 million, depending on how they determine to stretch him. So we'll see what happens with Luol Deng, but I do not see a world in which his contract is on this team at the start.
Next up from NBA fan, you've been great. I appreciate you watching the entire time, my man. What do you think about vets to sign with the minimum with LA? I haven't thought too much in depth about that, Harris. I want to jump out to you. I'll make note.
Maybe he was rumored to maybe be going around the Lakers. I think
Ray Allen comes back.
Jamal Crawford, I think, is definitely an option for a veteran minimum to come to the Lakers. I think Amir Johnson would be a really good defensive center for them to have come off the bench and also be like a mentor for some of the younger bigs that they have. Nerlens Noel could be a guy that they bring on the minimum, but I don't think he's going to go for that little.
I actually don't know if Nerlens going to have much of an interest. He was a disaster this year for them.
He was a mess. I think Kyle O'Quinn could be another good option for minimum as well. He's done good things with the Knicks of the past
LA
couple years.
might have to be competing for him.
Yes, and don't also be surprised. Maybe the Lakers throw an offer sheet at Marcus Harrell. They kind of play the same position as before. Greg Monroe, even though he doesn't play defense. Okay. I'm just trying to look for big men here that would take the minimum, that would play well next to LeBron.
Yeah, bigs you would imagine are the main target for the set.
So yeah, there are a couple different options there, but I like Amir Johnson. I like the idea as well of someone like a Kyle O'Quinn or a Jamal Crawford.
Crawford could be a good one as well there with the potentiality of being one of those bench scorers for LA. FPCom says the Dwight Howard should go to LA or Golden State. Of course, he is getting bought out as well. Look, I get the interest in Dwight Howard. You know how good he's been in the past, but at the same time, every year it's different for Dwight. Oh, this year he'll be better. This year he'll be better. We've done that for 3 or 4 or 5 years now, whatever it's at. I don't trust him coming into my locker room. Now, with that said, maybe with LeBron's presence, he would be a little bit better.
Dwight Howard, or at least the Los Angeles Lakers, should never speak to each other again. That marriage is dead. It ended in a very ugly divorce. If you want to go to the Warriors and ruin their locker room, totally fine. But if you're the Lakers, stay far, far, far away from Dwight Howard. I don't care how good of a fit he would be. I don't care how little of a contract he's willing to take. No. The last thing you need is Dwight Howard coming in and messing with the heads of all these kids that you got in this locker room. And they've already had some issues with Kuzma, Hart, and Lonzo Ball being a little too abrasive on social media.
All right, next up from Mr. Finn, who's actually our first super chat of the night. Welcome back. Says, what's next for Isaiah Thomas? I'll tell you what's not next. He's signing with LA.
Yeah, he don't. That's not going to happen.
LeBron don't want that.
I think the Bulls could be an option for him. I think the Knicks could be an option. I've always liked the Spurs as an option, but them getting Bellinelli kind of puts that one out. So I think as of right now, he'll end up on a team that has a young point guard that needs a little mentoring, that's a little more of a pass first, which is why I like the Bulls.
The Magic makes sense.
Magic makes sense.
They don't really have a point guard. I realized I responded to a tweet last night from who it was, but I didn't mention Isaiah Thomas on the show.
It would have been it'd be a very Magic thing to do to sign Isaiah Thomas to a long term. I still like the Bulls if they were able to re-sign Zach LaVine to the max. I think bringing him in as a good 3-guard would be awesome. They need some scoring in that position.
Joe Oshman says Kawhi said there's no point guard in his own risk.
No Paul George.
No Paul George. Kawhi said there's no Paul George in his own risk. That would make sense if it's coming from Kawhi's camp and once again, and there was that report from Black Sports Online.
Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are two very different people, and these are two very different situations. There is no falling. Paul George and the Pacers did not have a falling out. He just wanted to leave. He doesn't hate the Pacers. They didn't have some crazy argument. He just wanted to leave. Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs are not in a good place right now, and Kawhi wants to go play in LA. Doesn't matter. It's very, very different situation.
Jack, Jack says, Knicks 2023 final chance. You believe it?
No. They're still going to have to make it through. Jason Tatum, 5 years at 25 years old, and Jaylen Brown at 26 years old with a 31-year-old Kyrie Irving and a 32-year-old Gordon Hayward. Good luck, Knicks. You're stuck with the Celtics for the next half decade. Have fun.
Strange to see Ron Paul hanging out with the Knicks Jack in our competition. Anyway, Jason Riviera, LeBron, by the way, there, says add whoever necessary to rip Gold State. That would be the ideal, of course. It's much easier said than done.
I wonder if you're the Lakers, are you just better off seeing what you can do with Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball this year? If LeBron is really here making a long-term play with that 4-year deal, if you're the Lakers, you're probably better off with Lonzo, Ingram, Kuzma, adding a really good bench, and then getting Kawhi in the offseason next year. I think you just have a better team overall. Because then, if you get Kawhi next offseason, you still get to keep all those great players who've now added already 1 year of playing next to LeBron. And this also needs to be pointed out. Kyle Kuzma is a fantastic fit next to LeBron James. Brandon Ingram is a fantastic fit next to LeBron James, as is Mo Wagner. Why trade them for a guy that's going to come to your team next year if LeBron James is here for the long haul? I think they're going to make a trade for him because it's the Lakers and that's what they do. I don't think they should. Just saying.
All right, Daniel Herbert wants to know Warriors will still look for a Lakers.
Probably. This year, probably.
They're the favorites for
they don't forget, people. They still have Steph Curry. They still have Klay Thompson. Still got Kevin Durant. Still Draymond Green. Still got Steve Kerr. And they still have one of the best front offices in the entire NBA. The Warriors are going nowhere, even if they do lose one of Draymond Green or Kevin Durant next offseason. They can make a move for Anthony Davis.
Farmer the Hilly 99 says just spend 99 cents to say James is better than George.
That's my kind of guy
right there. I like you.
That's what
I
super
like
chat
you.
is. Go after anything.
All right, one last one of the ones we have right now here. Yeah. And the NY Boy, first off, welcome back, my man. Says, would LA consider trading for Anthony Davis? I'm sure they'd love to, but I don't see how they can pull that off. Take the Kawhi Leonard trade. Take the assets that you would have to use to acquire Kawhi Leonard and add like 2 more pieces to it. And that's what it's going to take to get Anthony Davis to the Los Angeles Lakers. Because if you're the Pelicans, why would you trade him side of the West? A. Why would you trade him to the Lakers? B. Why would you trade him to the Lakers with LeBron? C. And why would you trade him anyway? D. Rest of the alphabet. Not going to happen. If he's going to get traded anywhere, it can't be the Celtics anymore because of the Rose rule. So I guess Anthony Davis isn't getting traded. Well, I don't think he's getting traded anyway. I would trade one of the 3 best players, at least 5 best players in the NBA there. All right, Wayne, you're coming in after school. President Trump tweet about LeBron James for the Lakers. While we're at it, by the way, will Jello join LA? I like the Harris Danger on Harris. It's really fun. It's really fun.
LeAngelo Ball has a better chance of being the star of the JBA than he does being on the left bench of a team next year. He's not going to be in the NBA. He's not an NBA quality player. And now that LeBron James is there, you are sure as hell not going to get into the ball on that team.
I am curious to see what comes up because, of course, seeing LeBron opposite ends of the political spectrum, I would say.
Oh yeah, way opposite ends of the political spectrum. I wonder though. We had a comment from Chat Sports' own Cam Rogers. I wonder if we're going to get a President Trump tweet about LeBron James joining the Lakers. That'd be so peak 2018, especially in sports. That'd be fun.
Anyway, all right, folks. So again, if you're just now joining us, LeBron James has been signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. It is a 4-year, $154 million deal. I'll make note of that. That's a lot of money. I'm not very good with math, but I know that there's a lot of zeros involved. So LeBron, of course, in a non-salary cap bubble there, he'd make a lot more. So it's almost a steal from that perspective.
It is a bit of a steal. I mean, he is going to lose a lot of money by accepting California income tax rates, but I mean, money isn't really an issue for LeBron. But one thing I want to say about LeBron before we move on here, it's just I think LeBron in this move to LA matters so much more from a basketball perspective than it did the past 2 years. His whole idea behind going back to Cleveland in 2014 was to win a title for Cleveland. He achieved that. His whole goal in 2010 was to win a title in general, and he achieved that. Now his goal overall going into the Lakers, it doesn't really have so much to do with winning titles. I mean, he always wants to win titles. This is a lot more to do with him as a brand, him as a business, and his family. I think he finally wanted to stop the run of where are we going to move next, when is it going to happen, and continue staying in Los Angeles, continue to rub elbows with the celebrities of the world, get thrown around pictures out at parties with all the famous celebrities of the world, and elevate his own brand up to that of some of the biggest athletes in the world, like a Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. Him moving to Los Angeles is a perfect fit for both.
The comment coming in from Dan of 105,000.
Cole says, can't wait for Space Jam 2 with LeBron. We mentioned this a couple of NBA Weekly shows ago, that there was the report that the Space Jam 2 trailer would drop not long after LeBron signed. We don't have that trailer yet, at least not that we haven't told yet. I cannot wait for Space Jam 2.
The Space Jam 2 is going to be amazing. I'm so excited for it. I might be more excited for Space Jam 2 than I am for LeBron James going to the Lakers. And that's saying something, because even as a Celtics fan, I'm excited for LeBron to join the Lakers. I think it's going to be so good for the league as a whole. I can't wait to see what the reaction to this is around sports and just the overall impact that this has on the NBA. It's going to be awesome.
All right, so with that in mind, dear Harris, who should co-star in Space Jam 2 as the Monstars,
we're going to do this.
Or at least the players that the Monstars take the talent from?
Okay, so remember, it has to be not necessarily elite players. They have to be notable big-name players. They don't have to be great, they just have to be big names. Because remember, Muggsy Bogues was one of the players that got his talent stolen in Space Jam 1. So he wasn't a superstar, he was a good player. So at point guard, in terms of who could get their talent stolen, it's got to be Chris Paul.
Yeah, that's the only right after. It's Chris Paul.
Chris Paul,
the banana boat. That's the main point.
Giannis definitely has to be one of the people that gets his talent stolen because he already is a monster. Has to be.
Does Giannis just play a monster?
Maybe so.
Animated Giannis a monster.
The center.
Keep the comments going. I want to see what you guys got here.
The center is 1,000,000% Joel Embiid. Has to be Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has to be a part of Space Jam 2. So Chris Paul, Giannis, Joel Embiid right now. So that's your small forward and your center. At the shooting guard position, Klay Thompson would be hilarious. Would also help your appeal to the Chinese audience since China Klay is such a huge deal.
That's a good point. You know what? I hadn't
Klay.
considered that. That's a really good thought there, Harris. See, now you're thinking. That is probably one of the smartest things you've ever said.
Thank you. Appreciate
that.
And
I mean that as an insult.
Appreciate that. So now we have, again, Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. So now we need someone at the 4 to really wrap things up. But I remember the first time we went over this, you said that we need a Sean Bradley kind of player at the 4, correct?
Yeah.
We just need someone that isn't maybe great, maybe on the back end of his career.
Who really shouldn't be in the Monster as a Monster talent as all. And we figured it out. It's Carmelo Anthony, which is also a really bad insult to Melo, but also kind of a comment when he comes to Sean Bradley player. Or do you just go full Sean Bradley? Do you make it Timothy Mozgov? Because he got the Mozgov money, now he get that Space Jam money.
I got someone even better for it.
Okay, what you got?
Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, Giannis, Joel Embiid, and just to wrap it up, come on.
I mean, why not third?
Monstars doing fadeaway jumpers.
Do you actually go
from
deeper?
The baseline?
You go beyond 5 and you have a full bench this summer.
Oh, do I need to make a full Monstars team for Space Jam tomorrow on the Cam Rogers show?
I think it's a great idea.
If you think I should do this, give us a couple of super chats. Because I'm seriously considering doing a segment tomorrow of who the 5 Monstars should be in Space Jam 2. I'm seriously considering.
That's a good idea. I'll make one more here. Who plays the Bill Murray role? I still think it's just Bill Murray.
It's just, Bill Murray.
It's still Bill Murray.
It's not going to be Kevin Hart. Do not make Kevin Hart the Bill Murray.
Oh, my God. It's going to be Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart the Bill Murray character.
So Kevin Hart.
Do not make Kevin Hart.
Done.
No.
It's Kevin Hart.
No.
Lock it up.
No.
Dwayne Johnson cameo appearance.
I respectfully refuse
Kevin Hart.
your attempt
that
to
makes
Kevin Hart
so much sense.
They're going to try to shove Kevin Hart down our throats in this movie. He was terrible at the All-Star game. Terrible. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Kevin Hart. Locked in Kevin. All right. 2 more super chats, and then I'll go back to subject. Ben Trung, hopefully I got the last name right there, Ben. Says, can PG still sound Lakers? Technically, yes, but the likelihood is pretty much 0.
Oh, wait, hold on. Someone tell us that Dwight Howard is a monster.
Ooh.
But
then look, and that fits the Sean Bradley.
But it has to be Joel Embiid. It has to be. Joel Embiid it has to be Joel Embiid. I'm saying
on the PG stuff here.
Would Paul George still sign with the Lakers? Yes, he can. No, he won't.
All right, and then one more here coming in from Desmond Delgado says, Boogie and LeBron equals the next Kobe Shaq. I think it'd be great, but with the way the Lakers have spent their money thus far, it's actually going to be tricky to find a way to get Boogie locked in.
You know, I'm already being told that Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton is the next Kobe and Shaq. Now LeBron and Cousins is the next Kobe and Shaq. How about this for you? There isn't a next Kobe and Shaq. Kobe and Shaq is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and nothing will ever happen like that again. Maybe you can put some combinations of players together to get as good of a team.
we will never see anything in the NBA again like we saw with Kobe. All right, folks, here's what we're going to do now. So we're going to go ahead and sign off here, and we'll play the list. If you guys missed anything with LeBron, LA rumors, what players the LA Lakers sign as well, we'll do that. Keep the questions coming on the comment section. Harris and I will respond to those. And if anything else happens crazy, if Boogie signs, there's a Kawhi trade, we'll come right back in. Don't worry. If you missed anything, stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys in the comment section in just a second. No, this is not an April Fool's joke. No, it's not fake news. LeBron James has signed with the Los Angeles Lakers on a rather expensive deal. It's LeBron James, 4 years, $154 million. In the fourth year, there is a player option. You would assume, Harris, LeBron James decides to opt out, and then Lakers try to add other players around to LeBron James. They're not done yet. We'll go through some obvious here, but focus on the actual LeBron James signing. Obviously, the LA Lakers are your single biggest agency winner thus far.
Oh, they win by 4.
It's not even that they are a winner. It's that they won. They won free agency. I'm sorry. They signed LeBron James. The Lakers win free agency. That's just how this works. It happened when the Cavs got him in 2014. Happened when the Heat got him in 2010. If you're able to sign LeBron James, you do it. And you also instantly win free agency. I mean, this is so huge for the Lakers as a brand. I still think this is so massive for the NBA. I mean, there are so few opportunities where leagues get a chance to vault themselves up in terms of popularity. Getting LeBron James to the Lakers is a perfect way for the NBA as a whole to be able to do that. They are manned with the right commissioner. They are manned with some fantastic superstars. And now LeBron goes to the Lakers to really finish off a fantastic run for the NBA as a whole in 2018. The ratings are up. The interest is up in free agency. Everything, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything around basketball is up right now, and this is only going to continue that trend. All right, so there is the tentative lineup right now for the Lakers with LeBron James. Again, if you're joining us, they have re-signed Davis Caldwell Pope, a 1-year, $12 million contract. LeBron James, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and then some other different looks of a similar-ish lineup. Mo Wagner, Kyle Kuzma comes in, kind of more of a bigger but also a stretch lineup as well. And then you can kind of move around. Davis Caldwell Pope, you maybe put him in the pointer a little bit, have him team up next to Ingram, have Ingram run the point a little bit. A lot of different ways you can go with that lineup. You bring in Brook Lopez. I would love to see them bring in just a pure three-point shooter. But the Lakers also do have Svi Mykhailiuk, who they just drafted out of Kansas, a 6'8" shooting guard who's a fantastic sharpshooter from the perimeter. So they got a lot of different things that the Lakers can do in order of rebuilding this roster. Or not rebuilding, I should say, continue to add on to this roster. But this is already a good team. This was already, for my money, going to be a competitor for a playoff seed or a playoff seed in the Western Conference. Now this makes the Lakers a title contender. Add some more shooters, add a legitimate rim protector, and add a big that can get you some buckets and some rebounds, a real seven-footer like a Brook Lopez or even a Nerlens Noel. Get these guys in there and really make your team around LeBron. And if you want to make a midseason move for a superstar, go ahead. But I think the Lakers might be better off right now just building a really deep team around LeBron. Because like we saw with the Warriors, they had trouble dealing with depth last season. This isn't a very deep team. They're in trouble with their attack. I think the Lakers need to deal with depth rather than just superstars. All right, so we have some updated NBA title odds for you guys. The Golden State Warriors remain your favorite. All right, yeah. But then it is the Lakers and the Boston Celtics at plus 250. After that, the Houston Rockets are plus 700. The Sixers there as well, and of course, no surprise, the Cavs nowhere to go tonight. It's just the Lakers. These are the teams that you want if you're the NBA, being as the most popular teams in basketball. San Francisco, Los Angeles, Boston, Houston, Philadelphia. The only thing that's really missing is New York. And the Knicks in the 2019 offseason might get Klay Thompson, Karl-Anthony Towns. They got 2 max slots, and the Knicks could end up being really good as well. So a lot of different ways to go for the NBA overall, but a lot of great players and a lot of big-time markets.
the NBA is shaping itself so well. I know we hate super teams. I know we're always thinking about the little guy and the small market team. But come on, guys. Do we really not want to see a Lakers-Celtics NBA Finals next year, or a Western Conference Finals of LeBron James versus Kevin Durant, part 3? Like, we want this stuff. We want LeBron James on the Lakers. We want as many headlines as we possibly can. This is so great for the league. And it's also great for the Eastern Conference, because now they are free of LeBron James, and we can finally see what teams in the Eastern Conference can do without the great black hole of LeBron James. So again, a massive win for LA, a 4-year, $164 million deal as the Lakers land the king himself, LeBron James. Let's talk now about some potential Lakers rumors here, Harrison. The focus on this point is who else can they add? Now, again, they added KCP. That's going to take up a chunk of their contract space. They can free up more if they can get rid of Walden, get a stretch provision, or even via a trade. So focus on some big men here. That's what they need as far as I'm concerned right now. We'll start with Clint Capella, who met with the Lakers this afternoon, but we'll make note of this as well here, Harris. He didn't tweet out a sad face emoji about 20 minutes at most before LeBron signed. Maybe that meant he wasn't going to LA. Of course, that's all pure speculation. I want to make this very clear. I think that Clint Capella would be a great fit with the Lakers. Now that LeBron is in LA, there is a 0% chance that the Rockets let Clint Capella end up with LeBron in LA. They would match. There is no way they will match any offer that comes in on Clint Capella that is sent out by the Los Angeles Lakers. It is just crazy. One thing I need to point out, though, remember a couple of years ago where, when LeBron left the Cavs originally and they were using the whole font thing with Dan Gilbert and the note that he put out. I think it was what was it? It wasn't Arial. It was some crazy font that he was using that people were freaking out about. Flex Sports, in their immediate release that they just put out about LeBron, used the same font that Dan Gilbert used to write his note when LeBron left. No. Yeah, same font.
That's so petty.
I told you.
Oh my God.
LeBron and Dan Gilbert do not like each other at all. They do. Comic Sans, James Yoder message me. Comic Sans, that is the font that LeBron and Flex Sports just put out this release on. I'm telling you, people, the relationship between LeBron and Dan Gilbert was so much worse than I think anyone really knew.
That's very petty.
I love it. Absolutely. I love it.
Again, the cap space is kind of fluctuating right now around for Capella. We can update that as needed here. A potential lineup if they bring in Capella. Now you can put in KCP at the 2 spot as well. Maybe he becomes your 6th man instead. Maybe Ingram is in that role as well. But it's a fun lineup if they get someone like Lowe, which again does seem a little bit unlikely from the Rockets.
Yeah, I consider it to be outstandingly unlikely. I think that them bringing back someone like a Brook Lopez or adding Nerlens Noel is probably a more likely thing at this point than the Lakers adding a big-time free agent in a Clint Capella or DeMarcus Cousins. So let's talk about the guy you just mentioned. One quick thing. Congratulations to the Portland Trailblazers who just signed Mario Hezonja while the Lakers just signed LeBron James. Good job, Portland. You're really doing the
dive
big
in more tomorrow on the Rogers. So for now, we will focus on the LA Lakers.
Yeah. It's almost surreal, isn't it? It could possibly launch my career. I'm just gonna start making fun of. No, I'm gonna start like praising LeBron James and making fun of the flat Earth. Space Force is real. LeBron's on the Lakers, and yeah, we re-signed KCP. Yep, 1 year, 12 million. Or PG. Or oh sorry. I meant DeMarcus Cousins. Yeah, he's already, what was he, fourth in the West, and he was on a, he's got a team going over there. All right. Yo, what about Ocean Force? Pardon me.
After another offensive setup, can't see it. Let's get down to some non-free agent players. How about some trade options? Kawhi Leonard, of course, is the big one there. That is the number one. And as of a little bit ago, the report was that the Lakers haven't really amplified their pursuit of Kawhi Leonard at this time. The Spurs, they remain have a high asking price. They don't want to send him to the Lakers and pair him with LeBron James. The Spurs don't want to do that from an on-field report. They don't want to do that. The report, though, is that the Lakers here remain the favorite for Kawhi Leonard. And I want to make this also clear about the Lakers and the Spurs and Kawhi and all this talk of leverage. The Lakers still have a lot of leverage on their side. They have time. They don't need to make a move for Kawhi Leonard tomorrow. They already have LeBron James. So if the Spurs' option is to just wait out the Lakers can wait. I mean, they have months now until the season starts to make a move for a second superstar. I mean, the Celtics can trade for Kyrie Irving until August. I mean, build a public school in Cleveland.
Okay, we got it. Sheesh. Fuck out of here. That's insane. Pardon me. Nice. Deep Marble did this. The 100% confirmed sun circles above the flat Earth, 360 degrees. Sun circuit. I mean, that's what I've been observing for a very long time. It's good that we're all confirming it. Hmm.
The goal of anyone who's a witch is to not create fighting, to stop fighting. When you stop fighting, when you don't have an enemy, then things are at peace. And then mankind gets what it wants, which is the protection of the notion of forgiveness. And one could be forgiven, which is essentially the notion of this. Man, I like this. I like what it's like. This is fun. I'm going to talk to you in a while. I'm going to talk to you guys in a while. Let it out, let it out. Yeah, it's nice. I just think it's cool. Like if taking an understanding on it, so you can actually resolve issues versus create more problems. You know what I mean? And I think there's okay. Can I go back real quick to what you said before about I was jumping on now about the whole thing. Right. Honestly, I don't care about Catholic system. Personally, for me, like, I need Donald Trump to take care of the Catholic country. Start doing real shit. Like, this whole thing to me is like, I don't know, like whatever. It's like, it's just silly. From a first of all, I could. Yeah, I mean, I was busting chops. Somebody, had to put people to work. You know what I mean? No, because I understand it. They're playing Kerbal for 20 hours a day. I'm not mad. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not upset. And even if, I can take that. I look at it like, hey, who the fuck knows, man? I mean, maybe we do need space films and stuff. I mean, I'm just, right now. I'm not trying to go there. What I've already done with this conversation. So what if this is like the biggest troll in the world, right? And he's just saying, maybe let's just say, for example, say he knows that there's something wrong with the world, we're told it is. Maybe this is just like a troll. Well, I think that, just everyone look at it. Now all of a sudden, we got a space for it. Now we got it makes, it's a whole other division if you really think about it. And I think with anything that does, it encompasses the efforts of those of us people are going to steadily do because we need to this, possible new information gathering. I think we're going to wind up, like these ideas of discussion puts people back into the 19th century philosophy. Picture philosophy in the discussion. That to me, I think, is the richest conversation to be had regarding the subject. Because otherwise, once you go into the 20th century, now you're talking to space agencies and all the rest of it, which is, it's just not as, it's too combative for me. And I think it's much too psychological for someone to think outside the idea that they've been lied to by the agency. Whereas, I could willingly accept that. I could willingly accept that they told us the truth and we went to the fucking moon and all the rest of it, as much as I could willingly accept the idea that they potentially didn't and they manipulated it and didn't. But I don't know what is the truth. And so, like I said, it's like when someone's ready I'm not ready to fight over the issue of whether or not NASA did or didn't, because I don't know the truth of it all. What I can see, I understand it could have been manipulated. Doesn't mean that I'm raging against the allegations that they went or anything like that.
none of my business. Essentially, and this is what people need to recognize, especially like the U.S. or anyone who kind of that, but citizens are employees of the federal government. Federal citizens are employees. So it's like you don't have the say in what necessarily these folks are going to be doing with their business. So it's like when it comes to mass and stuff like that, like I
can't listen to you for too long.
And forced to recant his beliefs and spend the last years of his life under house arrest. Galileo's persecution for promoting heliocentrism is surprising, as the Catholic Church initially supported Copernicus' theories. Copernicus' theory of a heliocentric universe was well known at the upper strata of the Catholic Church in his lifetime. While he preferred his theories published after his death, he ultimately agreed to publish his manuscripts on the persistent appeals of high church officials. Catholics were not first to reject Copernicus' views, for they themselves admit opposition was first raised against the Copernican system by Protestant theologians for biblical reasons. The Catholic Church advanced Copernicus' heliocentric model, constantly urging him to spread it abroad, together with other theories that oppose the sacred scriptures. The necessity to change public conception from an accurate belief in a flat, enclosed earth to a false belief grew slowly. With sapient baby steps, the whole world would become amenable to the final delusion of an alien invasion under the First World. The Catholic hierarchy had the perfect opportunity to lay groundwork for a global deception to culminate in this Earth's final generation. This deception required a globe Earth spinning throughout the vast reaches of space inhabited by aliens and other sentient life forms. These contrivances created doubt in the Bible, putting science ahead of Scripture, which advises mankind the earth is enclosed and unmoving. They also place the Creator far away from his creation by presenting a universe unimaginably vast.
In the Table Talk of Martin Luther, the great reformer is quoted as having said, "There is talk of a new astrologer who wants to prove that the earth moves and goes round instead of the sky, the sun, and the moon, just as if somebody were moving in a carriage or a ship might hold that he was sitting still and at rest while the earth and the trees walked and moved." But that is how things are nowadays. When a man wishes to be clever, he must needs invent something special, and the way he does it, he must needs be the best. The fool wants to turn the whole art of astronomy upside down. However, as Holy Scripture tells us, so did Joshua bid the sun to stand still and not the earth. In his lectures on the book of Genesis, Luther said, "We Christians must be different from the philosophers in the way we think about the causes of these things. And if
we're colorful and we're all parts of different identities," and so he's really trying to secure the entire transgendered agenda through science. Yet no science is presented. He's just saying, "Oh, it's scientific. Scientists are discovering this all the time." So what I'm seeing is whether it's climate change, which again, a lot of the things that are described in the Bible, as far as the weather, as far as plagues, as far as anything that would be supernatural. Notice how science now is always, their entire thing has always been to have a physical, a metaphysical type of appeal to all of these properties. And that's exactly what they're doing. But it's not just that they want to run away from God and have a worldview without God, the God's not needed. This gets even more sinister because they're lining up the world in order to believe and be ready for the Antichrist in a one world system based on the fact that scientism, matter what belief you have, whether you're watching the show and you're a Christian or you're a Buddhist or you're a Muslim or it doesn't really matter. Your entire worldview, everyone's worldview was shaped by scientism. Now, some people broke away from certain aspects of scientism, but what if? The question, that's all it is a hypothetical. Is it worth your time to look into it and see what if the entire worldview construct that scientism has created for us has been alive? It's been alive from day one, and it's been there for a reason. The biggest question I get all the time is, well, why would they lie? Why would they lie? And see, it's not men lying. It's Satan lying through men. He is using men as puppets. He is using men as pawns in order for his master plan and for the world to come together and embrace a certain ideology. But again, scientism is one of those kind of Trojan horses that moves in, and it's disguised. It's not a religion. Well, of course, science and religion, they're all separate. We always hear that, oh, science, I'm scientific. Oh, you're religious. And there's a big divide. But it's moved in such a way that it is a religion. It is a big religion. It is the biggest religion in the world. It's bigger than Christianity, bigger than Islam. It's bigger than atheism. It is the biggest religion in the world. And it's nothing more than Satanism. I always say that basically scientism is Satanism without the robes. They just put lab coats on instead, made it more respectable, made it more dignified. And that's the idea that people look at and they haven't seen it because they were taught it from such an early age. So as many investigators, not just myself, there's some very incredible, good investigators that look into this. Rob Steva, for one, has spent hours and hours of time, devoted to this subject. And the more you start looking into it, it's not like one or two things. It's just a mountain of evidence. It's like there's so many things connected. There's so many things proved to show, even with our senses, with common sense, that what they have told us about our reality, about the world we live in, about everything that we see in the sky, is a lie.
And it truly is a far-reaching revelation once you embrace the unfold cosmology. And at the conference, my presentation is going to be entitled Flat Earth and Spiritual Warfare. And I began to realize that a new understanding of the world that I live in necessitated a rethinking of spiritual warfare. And it's amazing how far-reaching the ramifications are in that area and in so many areas. And indeed, the scientists are the priests of the New World Order. And I fear that for many professing Christians, they have become the authority rather than the Word of God. And we have been guilty of allowing them to make the decisions for us, to tell us what is authoritative in the realm of many a climate change, so many of these things you put on the table, far more than just our flat earth cosmology. And some of the most important questions that we cannot allow them to answer for us. Genetics, but questions like, what are the acceptable changes in the human body? In other words, just how animal can we make human? How human can we make animals? We are now hearing just frightening reports of animals achieving consciousness and awareness and frightening cognitive abilities. So, this is a very, very far-reaching thing, and I think it's really time for a big wake-up call that we have to see this scientism for what it is, and we turn to the Word of God and reestablish our headship away from these priests of Baal. And I agree, it's nothing but Satan. It is the most subtle and direct attack upon God and His Word that we've ever seen. It is the absolute tip of their nuclear warhead.
And it's effective, and it's incredibly effective. If you actually look at the numbers of people that dismiss the Bible, that walk away from any notion of a creator, it's basically through the scientists, through the science teachers, through what they teach as science these days. Now, the understanding is that if something is truly scientific, through the scientific method, that indeed, through empirical science, that's what we believe in, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But so much of science is scientism. And I look at kind of modern day science is nothing more than ancient magic. I mean, this is what we're seeing. Nothing new happens under the sun. Ecclesiastes is very clear on this. This is nothing new. We think that, we've evolved. We're so much smarter. And again, there's another disastrous lie in the understanding that we're so much more intelligent than those scribes back then that wrote those books. The idea that there was an incredible intelligence, there is a lot of proof. And again, that's another area where science is covering up. They're covering up technology. They're covering up giants. They're covering up all sorts of things that the Bible points to that happened in the past. And yet science is erasing that because it doesn't go with the Big Bang heliocentric evolutionary narrative. They need everything intact. So anything that conflicts, they have to move forward in that. And it's very clear. If you come with any scientific data that doesn't support the theory, you'll be ostracized. You'll lose your job. I mean, you're seeing this across the board. There's lots of scientists. There's lots of good scientists out there that are just...
Yeah, so... Ugh. I'm more happy about KCP signing, but I'm still digesting a. Oh yeah. That means what? Wait, what? Yeah, dude, and we have Ingram and Kuzma too, so we're all good. No, we'll win, dude. Yeah, we are, you idiot. Well, we're trying to pick up Clint Capella. But he did just we did just meet up with him too. Dude. Yeah, we will. Yeah. I don't believe it one bit. We could overpower him. Yeah. Play that Lakers Showtime. Oh. Wait a minute. My spider sense is tingling. I'm calling it right now. Sign Kobe. Yes. Kobe coming off the bench, man. I'll take 15 and another ring. Yes, calling it right now. I'm gonna tweet Kobe right now. Come out, come back to the Lakers. Nah. No, it means he's not gonna come back, y'all. Tweeting him right now. Giving him a reminder. Oh, dude, I'm doing one right now, you asshole. Yeah, that's why I want. That's why. All right, dude, peace. All right, peace.
If we decided to launch a manned exploration spacecraft, how long would it take for it to explore the entire galaxy, and how prep it for such an undertaking?
Yeah, it depends on how fast you're going. Let's go the speed of light, okay? Now, if they manage to go the speed of light, they won't age, but we will. So, at the speed of light, it's 1,000 years to cross the galaxy. We're all dead, and none of us will remember that we ever launched you anywhere. So, that's at the speed of light. Speed of light. So, stuff is speed of light. Hey, did you like that? Cool video, huh? Well, how about a bunch of cool videos, all commercial free, plus exclusive original content that you can't find anyplace else, all on StarTalkAllAccess.com. Give kudos to you, and would really encourage anyone that hasn't to go to subscribe to the YouTube channel and look at these documentaries, because they really make sense. And they really begin to connect the dots in so many ways. And I really agree with your assessment that this whole scientism thing, and especially the heliocentric spinning ball, that this is really from the pit of hell. And here recently, I've been studying what the apostolic Ante-Nicene fathers had to say about Pythagoras and Clement of Alexandria and Tertullian and Irenaeus. They had some very pointed things to say about that old boy. And they said very plainly that what he's teaching comes from fallen angels, from the occult, black magic. They mince no words about what they thought of old Pythagoras. And we certainly tonight aren't the first ones to say that this theology is coming out of the pit of hell from the very birth of the Church of the Living God. This has been the stand.
Yeah, I mean, for some people that's incredibly shocking, but that is the truth. This stuff is originated right from, Satan. This is spiritual, and you can see it with their words. I mean, they'll at one breath say, oh, we don't believe in God, but yet they're spending their entire life completely attacking him. And the words that some of these scientists have said, and in Scientism Exposed and other documentaries that I've done, I have put certain clips, and not just, clips video, audio, you can hear it yourself. And again, they say some very despicable, disgusting things about the Bible, about Jesus. And again, you can kind of see that, he's become kind of the public enemy number one, which would make sense. And again, you have to take out the Bible. You have to take out the credibility, the authority, really, because that's what it comes down to. For people that are listening tonight, a lot of people probably are on the fence. Like I was for years. I'm like, the Bible, what a joke. It's just a book. I mean, it's been changed over time. There's so many translations. And for the longest time, that kept me away from it because it just made sense. Of course, it's got a bunch of errors, but again, that wasn't the truth. So I think the Bible is so important to look into the veracity, the authority, just to be able to understand that it is supernatural. There's a reason it's the bestseller. It always has been the bestseller. It's the book that's been translated into more languages than any other book. I mean, if you actually look at just the understanding of how many people have tried to destroy it, burn it, I mean, it is supernatural. It has existed. It has continued on. It is incredibly dangerous to Satan's kingdom. And what is incredibly dangerous is right from the foundations of creation, because creation cries out that there's a creator. God is glorified through his creation, and you see it time and time again echoed in the Bible. So Satan, of course, would move incredibly quick and swift into a plan to start discrediting the creation and having another worldview presented that has prestige, that has no debatable respectability to it. There's no debate. It's settled. We already know that there's billions of suns. There's not just one sun. The Bible says there's one sun. No, that's silly. We know that all those stars, are suns. Well, that's absurd. Anybody looks up at a star with a really good telescope, you can see the properties of a star. They do different things. They twinkle, twinkle, They have different colors. They have different emissions. They're different than suns. Yet this is what we're told because this is what their worldview is presented. They need it. They need gravity. They need this whole idea to be put together. Yet no one's ever measured gravity. No one's seen it. No one's tested it. It's not empirical science. You need a theory of gravity, just like we're told, but don't teach kids from an early age that this is exactly what's going on. Don't teach kids, scientific proof, and brainwash them and indoctrinate them when it's not scientifically provable. It's a consensus. I'll give you that. It's a theory, and you're fine. Anybody is entitled to have their own opinion or theory. But when it's taught as truth, when it's taught as if I put on my test, I don't believe this, I'm going to fail my test. See, this is where the problem is, and this is where they're indoctrinated from a very, very young age to children, when children don't have the capacity to even ask questions. They just understand their world because it's presented, it's taught to them. It's taught to them by their parents or by their teachers. And this is the problem. And it's not that so many people are out there trying to deceive the world. They just learned it from their parents. And their parents learned it from their parents. So we're dealing with a very escalating, long-term play by Satan to move something in place that really doesn't have to be that many people involved. People say all the time, like, oh, there have to be so many people involved to lie about the whole world. No, there wouldn't. There wouldn't. Because again, you would just be ingrained in your worldview. You would cling to it because it's what you know as the truth. And it's a very scary proposition for someone to try to take away your world from you. Try to, have someone try to take your house. That's going to be bad enough. Not even taking your entire reality. So this is a very terrifying thing for most people. So I understand there's pushback. And most people that come to this subject matter laugh at first. I did myself. I thought this was ridiculous. The whole idea of a flat earth was ridiculous. I laughed it off. I thought it was completely nonsense. And so that's what the reaction we're going to get from a lot of people. So that's why I've come up with a term, that I've called myself for a long time, is an enclosed creationist. So when I'm talking to people, they're like, oh, I'm a creationist. Oh, I'm an enclosed creationist. And they're like, oh, what's that? But I should explain, talking about God's creation and creating it in an enclosed, type of atmosphere. So that's the interesting thing is when you get into these words were put in place. And Satan was smart enough to understand that if people got wind, they understood the reality. He had to basically put some really absurd things in place. So he put the Flat Earth Society that basically teaches a lot of absurdities. They do have some truths, and they don't get me wrong. But there were some things in there just to throw it right off. For one, that were accelerating upwards through the universe. That's how they support gravity. Nobody in enclosed cosmology that I know, and I know a lot of people in this community, especially biblical enclosed cosmology, believe that we're flying through space. There is no space. Space is what we've been taught is a lie. As you see things in the sky, we've been told of endless galaxies and this whole construct. everything that we have been taught is a lie. And again, it's so crazy to think sometimes. But wait a minute, this guy is sitting here talking to me, he's talking crazy. He's telling me that everything I believe is a lie. And I'm saying, look into it. It's worth your time, even just to debunk me, even just to look into it and show me how silly I am. But when you start going down this road, and you start looking at the Bible, and you start looking at what scientism has presented, you're going to find out not only are they lying, but you're going to start to find out that through the scientific method, you cannot actually prove what they're telling you. There's no scientific experiment to prove the movement of the Earth. They've tried many times. Aries failure, Michelson, Morley. There's been a ton of different experiments that have been done throughout the ages. To this day, they can't detect the movement of the Earth. Now, they didn't like the results very much. So what did they come up with? The theory of relativity. You know, now they're getting into multiverses. They're getting into black holes. And they're getting into dark matter. And you hear all these nonsense terms. They're moving so far away from where science started, but it makes sense because Satan will move the world so far off, like the Bible says. They will turn from the truth, and they will believe in fables. God says they will believe in fairy tales. These are fairy tales for adults. Just like, when you're kids and they're watching the dinosaurs or they're watching, the spaceships going through space. It starts off with children, but understand that it resonates with us as we get older. We love the idea of space. We love the idea of going through galaxies. Why is that, right? And again, the whole dinosaur narrative, and I always explain this to people, but the dinosaur is introduced at a very, very early age. And I'm not saying I don't believe dinosaurs exist. Understand that what scientism has taught us about dinosaurs is an absolute lie. They didn't exist millions of years ago and all this stuff. You can look into it yourself. But all I'll say is that creates the past of the story. In space, it gives us the future of where we're heading. These two constructs are given to children that resonate with us as we get older and watch Star Wars and Star Trek and whatever. But again, these things are put in place for a very specific reason. You can see Hollywood, the media, constantly reinforcing. And we'll move over into NASA because it gets even more interesting when you start getting into that scientism space agency and all the other space agencies of the world. But when they actually start coming together and then they start presenting it in the media, whether it's going to Mars or they have rovers on Pluto or they're going to go to distant galaxies, or, the latest thing I heard is they're going to go I forget how far away from the sun. Like they're going to go to the sun. This is absurdity. You can hear these things constantly. I just did a video last night, actually yesterday, I put it up on my channel, and it was incredibly ridiculous. It was actual company in Europe called Part-Time Scientists. Their plan is to put an LTE cell phone tower on the moon next year. Okay, that's what they're planning. And again, this is Fox News. I did the commentary, and I had a lot of laughs, and it was a lot of fun. I said, "Don't fuck this video because we're going to come back to it next year. Let's talk December 20th, 2018. Nothing's going to happen." How absurd to think they're going to put a cell phone tower and have LTE technology on the moon, because this is the reason. We don't want to use, any of our, space communication technology. We just think it'd be a nice thing to use the technology we have on Earth to talk to people from the moon. And they talk about building a lunar village. They have to have this infrastructure of a cell phone tower so people can talk on cell phones. And they're talking about like rovers being up on the moon next year. What I'm telling you, look into this. The moon is incredibly pivotal. NASA lands on the moon, 1960. Look into this. This whole thing deceived the whole world. People say, "You're insane. Of course they land on the moon." What if they didn't? What if they didn't? What if you did your research and you found out that they didn't land on the moon? The question is, and this is just a hypothetical for people that are totally thinking this is crazy, why would they lie? How far can they go? Where are they? Because the reality is this, and I've mentioned this on many shows, since the 1960s and early 70s, that they supposedly went to the moon, which is 238,000 miles away. Think of that number. Just think of that in your head first. Just think of going on the furthest vacation and then times that by an obscene amount of numbers. But basically 250,000 miles away. They went in 1960. Okay. Since then, any space agency where man has gone is 400 miles. Look it up. The ISS, the International Space Station, is 250 miles. Okay. The furthest that they have been in almost 50 years is 400 miles. I put that in Scientism Exposed because I felt that one thing should get people going, wait a minute. You would think that we'd have a lunar village already on the moon. You think that we'd have trips up there. You think that we would have a camera up there taking a nice picture of the Earth. We'd have all sorts of things going on. There's nothing going on. There's constant people talking about it. SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, these guys just get sucked up by NASA and ESA, this new group, part-time scientists that plan to put on, LTE phone network on the moon, and Vodafone is actually sponsoring it. This is ridiculous. This is just absolutely incredibly ridiculous, and yet the world will believe this. Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm saying it right now on this show. Next year, this time, let's go later, December 20th, 2018, there's not going to be any cell phone tower on the moon. No one's talking on their iPhones on the moon. It's never happening. We're never going to the moon. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and there's progressions you go through. I think everyone pretty much experiences all these stages. The first stage is, oh boy, this is crazy. And then the second stage is, well, maybe I'll look into it. Then the third stage is, oh, what am I going to do with this? And tonight, I am sure, I know that many of our Midnight Ride listeners, they share our belief in enclosed cosmology and they love the study of the subject. But I am sure that tonight we have some Christians that are on the fence, engage in just a little bit of apologetic and try for just a few moments, or as long as you would desire, what biblical arguments would you use to persuade our listeners tonight that are on the fence that indeed your position and mine on enclosed cosmology is the truth?
I guess I could start with looking at the Bible itself and ask those Christians, which verses do we take literal and which verses do we take allegory? Because the question is, if we can't take creation verses literal, then what do we take literal? I think it's a very dangerous, it's a slippery slope when all of a sudden you start interpreting based on, what's poetry or what's allegory. Now, this is an entire, program for another time. But so many people have moved away from verses and moved them into allegory for one reason and one reason only. We didn't understand it. I've gone through commentaries where I've been in Bibles, where all of a sudden I come to the pillars, or I come into the firmament, or I come into these really, Amos 9:6, when it talks about how God put his vaulted dome, in some translations, over the earth. It talks about the connectedness of the heavens and the earth together. In the commentary, well, they'll talk about all the verses, they're suspiciously not there. I mean, there are some commentaries out there that do try to, get into these things, but for the most part, it will be last on the list. They'll say, here's your 4 interpretations, which, if you actually look at the interpretations, the top 3 are really, really ridiculous. The 4th one makes a lot of sense if you're going to take it literal. See, this is the biggest question: is don't you want to take the Bible literal? If you're a Christian, and I would imagine most that I know of that are Bible literalists, they're Sixth-day creationists. They're pretty firm on the fact that we can rely on the fact that it's not billions and billions of years. We can rely on the fact that evolution's a lie. I don't know too many Christians, although there's some out there, and that would be a whole other discussion. But I would say for the ones that do believe in billions of years, then you're dangerously looking at destroying the redemptive story of the Messiah. Because again, understand the Bible says that death came on sin. Sin, death entered the world. So if dinosaurs existed and they died, well, death was existent before man was around. So I look at these things, I look at looking at the Bible very seriously, especially when it comes to, literal interpretation. Most times people didn't, and they couldn't take it literal because it was an embarrassment. It was almost like they got to a point where like, I don't want to look like an idiot. That's we already know. Science has already proved this. If you look at the erosion of what happened, you have the great evil reformers. You've got Augustine. You've got Martin Luther. You've got John Calvin. These guys were all completely going against Copernicus, which developed the whole heliocentric. Everything revolves around the sun. Before that, it would be geocentric. Worldview. In fact, the Earth was still, and yet the entire heavens and everything that we see revolved around us. And if you look at star trails, you look at time-lapse photography, you see incredible things that basically point to the fact that indeed that's true. The idea that we're spinning and wobbling and flying through the universe and yet the stars stay the same, now they'll tell us, no. Millions of years ago, the stars changed and they move very slowly. The fact is, if you look up at the North Star, it's the same. It was the same. Even looking into the pyramids, You can see how the tunnels and stuff were aiming up right at Polaris. They were looking at it, therefore we are, what's going on? We're told that the stars are all moving around, but yet we're seeing the same star system continually. That shows that we aren't moving, but everything else is moving circular, just like the Bible states. The Bible states that stars are something different than what we've been taught. You know, everything that's presented in the Bible, ask yourself the question, why is science going completely opposite? You would think that maybe Satan would try to be aligned with a few of them, but every single thing. So you're left with going, well, either I have to go the scientism route, or I have to hold on to my Bible, you know, a lot more tightly, because this is the assault that's going on, and this is what's eroding everyone's belief. It's not the belief. People know there's a creator and everything, but over time, what happens? Science erodes their understanding. That's just fairy tales. You know, you hear talking all the time, talking about the flying spaghetti monster. You know, just absolutely insulting terms. Then he talks about how preposterous this is because science proves it. Yet they will tell our children, they will tell us that nothing created everything. So think about that logically. That's the scientism definition of where everything came from.
He's an anti-Superman.
I'm not joking. Look it up yourself. So if you're going to fight the Bible, understand that you're fighting.
Dude wishes he can be Superman. God damn it. I just made some pizza. It's so fucking good. It's gonna be delicious. Yeah. Yeah, freaking. I'm actually kind of getting kind of tired. I'm just gonna fucking shut this shit down and watch some fucking anime or something. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'll hit you up tomorrow, dude. We'll end up doing this, but let's ease into it. Yeah. Yeah, no, let's wait 24 hours and see what happens here. All right, dude. Peace, bro.